Now, I was never that guy that the girls fell over.
Hey darling, don't you sometimes wonder what a strange and wonderful relationship we have?
Yes, you're strange and I'm wonderful.
My wife tells me that growing up in a boys' home, going to an all-boys school, and then entering the male-dominated world of engineering was half of my problem. But I did slowly learn things. Like when I would dress up with my brothers to go out, it was okay to say to them,
Oh, you've scrubbed up well.
but when you're on a date, saying,
Gosh, you've scrubbed up well.
never cut it with the girls. And I learned that good looks weren't everything. Sometimes I would get to talk to the prettiest girl in the room, only to think afterwards that I'd had a better conversation with an indoor plant.
Really? When I had worms, I went to see the doctor.
But when my kids were getting to that age where they became interested in the opposite sex, they would often seek answers from me. Once they asked,
Hey Dad, is it okay to go out with someone who's not a Christian? Like on a date?
well, let me tell you two stories. The first story is about my good friends, David and Louise. You remember my good mate Chris?
Uncle Chris, story number 29.
Well, Chris shared his faith with David in their first year of university, 1975.
Uncle Dave, story number 44.
David decided to become a Christian. Chris brought him along to church, where I met him too. My first memory of David was being impressed by the length of his hair. This is a picture of David at the beach in those days, and also his athletic prowess, and unimpressed by his driving skills. But more than anything, I was impressed how he really wanted to follow and learn about Jesus. A few months later, David brought along to church this beautiful girl called Louise. She too impressed me, not just by how pretty she was, but by how sharp she was. She was no one's fool and was always ready to challenge what we Christians believed. Louise, you see, was not a Christian. One day, Alex spoke to us all about the importance of not being unequally yoked. That is a term from the Bible which says, "Do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers."
If you have decided to follow Jesus, how can you connect yourself with someone who has decided not to follow him? When you wanted to go somewhere, it would be like this. Now, if we are going to connect ourselves in an intimate way with someone, we need to connect ourselves with someone who wants to go in the same direction.
David felt that God was telling him that he could not have the beautiful Louise as his girlfriend if she was not going to follow Jesus too. And so they decided to be just good friends instead. Now, years later, I asked Louise how she felt about being ditched by David for Jesus. And she said that she thought, gee, he must be really serious about Jesus to dump me. And so he decided that she needed to give Jesus a serious look, which she did. And a few months later, during Easter of 1976, she too decided to follow Jesus. It wasn't long and they were together again. They got married, and now with 4 kids and 7 grandchildren, they are still both following Jesus. I asked Louise about it just before making this video, and she said that she admired David for his stance. Oh, and then there is my second story. During those same years, I had 3 guys, each at different times, seek me out to ask me about how to become a Christian. I asked them why they were asking, and all 3 told me that they had fallen for a girl that was the daughter of a minister called Mike Dennis at the Nawi Baptist Church. But the girl had said each time, no way, I'm a Christian and Jesus wants me to only go out with someone who is also following him. I never got to meet this girl, but I would have liked to. they too, by putting Jesus first, caused people to investigate him. So I would tell my kids, don't be fooled. Following Jesus means putting him first in everything, even in your relationships. That may mean saying no to someone that you think you would really like. There is a cost to following Jesus, but Jesus told his disciples, truly I tell you, no one who has left home or brothers or sisters or mother or father or children or fields for me and the gospel will fail to receive 100 times as much in this present age, brothers, homes, sisters, mothers, children and fields, along with persecutions, and in the age to come eternal life. So I would tell my kids that refusing to connect with someone because they are not prepared to follow Jesus may seem costly now, but Jesus tells us that his plan will be 100 times better. Join me in my next story, and God bless.